Walt Disney Concert Hall opened on October 23, 2003 in Los Angeles. It was lauded in the world's press as one of the most beautiful, dramatic, and innovative structures ever built.
The new Disney Concert Hall in LA is truly a modern architectural masterpiece in the sense it's a very free-form structure whose skin is stainless steel.
But there was a small, hard dose of reality in this fantasy land. Embedded in the graceful curves of shining metal was a tiny engineering disaster. Superstar architect Frank Gehry designed this new home for the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. The Disney Concert Hall is part of the Music Center complex, owned by Los Angeles County. Gehry fashioned the wavy stainless steel exterior to look like a ship with its sails at full mast, a symbolic ceremonial barge to music.
He wanted the structure to reflect light in different ways, so it would be a more interesting shape.
Although some criticized the ambitious design, everyone praised the acoustics. However, the sail-like designs that reflected sound so beautifully on the interior caused reflections of a different kind on the hall's steel-clad exterior.
Most of the Disney Concert Hall has a skin that is stainless steel. The brushed portions of the building tend to diffuse the beamed sunlight. The catch is that with the Disney there are some surfaces that are polished stainless steel, and they reflect very exactly the sunlight.
Two areas on the building featured polished stainless steel: the roof of the Founders Room and the marquee above the adjoining Red Cat Theater. Although these reflective areas only made up about 2% of the building's skin, they caused positively sizzling problems.
Sections of the wall are concave, so they focus the sun the same way a parabolic mirror would focus the sun. And so instead of having just the intensity of a sun reflecting back at you, you might have the intensity of 20 suns reflecting into your window all at once. And that's severe.
Nearby condominium residents got a blistering dose of this focused sunlight. Certain residents were unable to use their own living rooms because of the heat, and their air conditioning bills skyrocketed.
A flat panel like this, the light will come in, and just like a mirror, will go out parallel. You'll see the image. If you're standing over here, you'll see the image of the sun, for example. If we imagine that this were curved, then what would happen is all of that light gets focused into some point in front of this. If it's a very tight curve, the point is very close. If it's a very flat, open curve, the point is very far away.
Not only did adjacent structures get overheated, the physical space around the concert hall was heating up too.
You had measurements being made on the sidewalk of 140 degrees.
If the heat wasn't bad enough, certain traffic intersections were precariously close to receiving a blinding glare, which could have proven deadly for pedestrians crossing the street. The county responded immediately.
If you're going to cure the solar concentration problem, you have one or two choices. You can change geometry of the mirror or destroy the mirror.
A computer model simulated the shifting position of the sun at half-hour intervals over a 365-day period. This study determined which stainless steel panels were the worst offenders, based on time of day and season. LA-based Schiller and Associates conducted the study and assisted Gehry in exploring different remedies to the problem.
Right, what we did was we tested different solutions. We just used one of the panels from the building and put different films on them, and we tested each of the surfaces to see what the different specularity would be. And some of the surfaces where a big aesthetic change may have solved the problem, but would have been a wildly different building. And I don't know whether you can see the difference in the way that the different surfaces reflect. You can see that there are certain moments when the focal point passes right through your eye.
In March 2005, the sails on the Disney Hall lost a little of their luster when work crews began sanding the problematic panels.
The best solution, the one that had the least aesthetic impact, but still was sufficient, was to sand the surface. We found that a combination of straight vibrational sanding followed by orbital sanding took care of the specularity.
It took 6 weeks and $60,000 to complete the process. Mission accomplished. Heat and glare dissipated.
Most people cannot tell that it's been treated. Those who do, I think, seem to find it interesting.
This engineering disaster may have been minor, but with modern building materials and a growing desire to push the architectural envelope, new dangers could be right around the next curving corner.
The heat island effect is something that goes on in cities now. In fact, cities now are so crowded full of inanimate surfaces that when the sun shines, they get hot. Now, this actually means that the air in the city starts to rise, and you actually get sort of air pulled in from around the city, which helps a tiny bit, but it's also an indicator that the city has overheated itself.
But for today, the Walt Disney Concert Hall stands gracefully in all of its dulled glory.